Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Angel Tuccy, and I'm going to teach you today in this fabulous masterclass on how to become a top podcast guest. Yes, being a podcast guest has an incredible opportunity on helping you to become the number one authority in your niche, attracting more followers and leads, getting booked every single week, and monetizing it. I'm going to take you through a 4-step framework on how to become a top podcast guest. And it really begins with the before, the during, the prep, and the monetization. And so we have an incredible step-by-step guide for you today, or masterclass that we have put together for you. And we're going to take you through everything it takes to become the number one authority in your niche using podcast guesting and becoming the top podcast guest in your niche. My name's Angel Tuccy. I am the media matchmaker. I run the Need a Guest Facebook group. So you might have found us through the Need a Guest Facebook group. For 10 years, I was in broadcasting out of Denver, Colorado. I hosted a 2-hour business talk show Monday through Friday. And then in a 6-minute commercial break, we would also do we would tear down our studio and not tear down the studio, tear down my laptop, grab all of our stuff and move to a second studio where I hosted a second 2-hour talk show, a Christian lifestyle show. So I was hosting 4 hours of talk radio when I left broadcasting 5 years ago. And in the last 5 years, I have leveraged the power of being a guest on other people's shows to the tune of 2 interviews every single week. Being a guest on 2 podcasts every single week puts you in front of 100 new audiences every year, fresh new audiences. Would you love to have just a fresh new, traffic source of fresh new leads, people that are excited to work with you? They've already heard about you, they've discovered you, and now they're in your sales funnel. And so we can leverage these podcasts to attract new leads and to monetize it on the back end. And our 4-step framework that we're going to walk you through in this masterclass goes through exactly that. But I want to tell you right before we all get into it, that I just want to say congratulations, because being a guest on somebody else's podcast is an incredible honor. They probably had 20, 30, 40, 50 opportunities of people pitching to them, and they chose you. They felt like you were an incredible asset to them based on how we pitch to them, the assets we bring to them, the testimonials that you have for being a podcast guest, all the things that we're going to create for you, that they know that you're going to be an incredible guest for their audience. And so we're going to position you to be an invited guest over and over again. Ideally, really focusing on leveraging podcasting and being a guest on 2 interviews a week to give you that traffic, to give you that exposure, the visibility, and of course, to monetize it on the other side. When people are listening to podcasts, they're usually actively doing something else at the same time, commuting, right? Walking their dog, working out. And so being a guest on a podcast is the number one way to connect most deeply with your audience. They're actively listening while they're doing something else. Their brain is actively listening. They might not feel like they are actively listening, but their brain is hyper tuned in to what you are saying. So we can leverage this trust factor, right? Faster. So when they do finally get to a sales call with you, a workshop with you, they are already tuned in to who you are, and they already like they've already filtered themselves to be a quality guest or a quality lead and a quality client for you. So we're going to leverage that. So number one, it is an incredible honor, right, to be a guest on somebody else's podcast. Number 2 is the transfer of trust, right, that comes from being that invited guest. So you shorten your sales cycle by being an invited guest, and we'll walk through that in the masterclass. And then the longevity of your interviews and your message sticks around. If we're a guest or if we're a speaker at an event, we'll impact that audience for a couple hours, maybe a couple of days, right? If it's a 3-day event. But when you're a guest on somebody else's podcast, that interview could be listened to a week from now, a month from now, years from now. So we can continue to build up the momentum. 2 interviews a week gets us into that cadence that we're not counting on any one interview to be kind of our bread and butter. It's the longevity and it's the system and the consistent exposure and visibility that positions you as that number one authority in your niche, getting invited, getting your name out there, everybody's seeing you everywhere, and knowing that you're the celebrity that they want to work with. And so it's a really fun way to build your leads, build your audience, and build your business. It's also the most time effective way, being a guest, because you don't have to travel. Pretty much anywhere you've got an internet connection, I've got a camera, I've got a microphone, I am good to go. I can be a guest from wherever I'm stationed, wherever I happen to be in the world on that day. And I didn't have to travel. I didn't have to get on an airplane. I could just turn on my camera and I can go. And as soon as the interview is over, I'm back to serving my VIP clients, being a content creator, and getting on with my lifestyle. So it's an incredible way to build, to maintain your lifestyle, to attract more perfect leads, to become the #1 authority in your niche, and to monetize it on the back end. And like I said, we have our 4-step framework. We're going to walk you through that today through this masterclass. And so I'm excited you're here, and we'll see you on the inside. Cheers.